What a great life for us.
No, I know that, How are you? Oh, I should
That's a pleasure. Well, that's the right
Yeah, exist because we're outside. Exist. Is there mustard there? Have you prepared all the details? Oh, yeah, okay. I just gotta. This is your Nice.
Yeah. Thank you. Just get myself.
Just woke up like this.
Sorry to break up everybody's fun. We're gonna get started in about a minute. So grab your drinks, grab whatever you need, and we'll and grab a seat.
Nothing like.
I saw him, he was in his pajamas.
That's how comfortable we are together right now. Robert's lucky if I'm putting short for him.
You're picking the nose.
It's great. They're like, okay, that was it.
Just change your relation, right? Yeah, sleep daddy. How are you? I'm actually.
That was a very long minute that we gave everybody. One more minute. One more minute. I'm impressed. That was really quick. So thank you. Well, thank you everybody for coming today on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Thank you to those of us online, live streaming. CFS has stepped up its technological capabilities. So thank you for joining us, for those of you that couldn't be with us in person. This probably needs no introduction of why we're all here. If you're wondering where the guest of honor is, she is on my left. And to those of you viewing online, to my right, and a lovely white lady. Before we get started, just want to go over a couple of housekeeping items. Obviously, we are in pandemic times, and we are doing our best working with lovely folks here at Bonterra to ensure that everything is within Alberta Health physical distancing guidelines. There's hand sanitizing pumps at every single table, as well as the entrance. Exit, I mean, we're outdoors already, but we can just sneak up through the back here into the parking lot. Bathrooms are through to the restaurant, past the bar, and up to the left. I think that covers it. If there's any questions, Lori has been our coordinator extraordinaire, and so she'll be able to answer everything. So thank you, Lori. Thank you, Lori. Before we begin, I'm going to invite Jessica up for a brief prayer.
So our theme for today in celebrating Patricia is She's the Reason. And we'll say more about that in a bit. But as a preface to this prayer, she is the reason we proudly say we are Catholic Family Service. It's not a perfect name, but it's who we are. In one of Patricia's gala speeches, she quoted James Joyce, who referenced the universal meaning of Catholic and saying that it really means, here comes everybody. So today I have the honor of offering a prayer for Patricia to open our event. So join me in extending this blessing from Irish poet and priest John O'Donoghue. On the day when the weight deadens on your shoulders and you stumble, may the clay dance to balance you. And when your eyes freeze behind the gray window and the ghost of loss gets into you, may a flock of colors, indigo, red, green, and azure blue, come to awaken in you a meadow of delight. When the canvas frays in the boats of thought and the stain of ocean blackens beneath you, may there come across the waters a path of yellow moonlight to bring you safely home. May the nourishment of the earth be yours, may the clarity of the light be yours, may the fluency of the ocean be yours, may the protection of the spirit be yours. And so may a slow wind work these words of love around you, an invisible cloak to mind you.
Thanks for that, Jessica. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Byron Chen. I'm the Senior Director of Strategy and Development at Catholic Family Service. Jessica, who just delivered the beautiful prayer, is the Senior Director of Programs and Services. And we often joke around that together, we make one whole person. So we are continuing that tradition on as MCs today. You each have a printout on your tables of the informal agenda that we have for today. We knew that even with a small gathering, that there will be many people who want to share wonderful stories about who Patricia is, what she's meant to them, what she's done for them. And we recognize that in a very limited time, we wouldn't be able to get through everything. So we've opened up opportunities. There's cards on your table or around to be able to write something that will form part of a farewell gift to Patricia, where the CFS team will consolidate everything that's been submitted and present it to her. Also on our website, where our live streamers are streaming from right now, that's cfs-ae.org/Patricia. There will be a place to upload a video recording or submit a written message as well. So please feel free, if you don't get a chance to say something today, to submit something either to the cards or online. The other thing that we want to bring up in true Patricia fashion, when we were trying to figure out what she wanted to do for farewell, what she was interested as a farewell gift, she said nothing. Everything must go to benefit the agency. So we, of course, we're trying to find a hybrid solution here, keeping her happy. She's still our boss, and doing something that honors her respects and wishes. So she's she's asked that in lieu of gifts, that we are able to contribute to one of our major fundraising campaigns this year called the Five for Humanity campaign. And I would like to invite Mr. Darren Radiza, one of our board members, who is the mastermind behind the Five for Humanity Fund. So please welcome Darren.
Byron was smart and just told me I was going to speak like 10 minutes ago. So I want to keep my sunglasses on so you can't see. I'm Darren Radiza, and I am on the Up board. I've been for about 2.5 years. And yeah, I have the incredible honor of working with Patricia and the rest of the Up board and CFS. And Five for Humanity was a vision or an initiative that my wife and I had. I was diagnosed with bladder cancer. Had surgery March 23rd. Went well. Doing well. Saw my doctor the other day. Everything's good. Anyway, late March, I'm in the insurance business, and I had the fortune. It's the lottery you don't want to win, but a critical illness insurance claim that was paid. And my wife and I were sitting around talking and said we wanted to donate to CFS. Felt compelled to do a donation and came out with the number $5,000. And but then sitting around talking, we said there's got to be a way to turn this $5,000 into so much more. So started talking with my business partner, Tony Fairfield, and he said, how about Fairfield Watson gets behind this and we match it? So we're up to 10 and we're off to a great start. From there we go out and see who else can do 5. And recognizing that in this economic environment, getting individuals, families, companies to match our 5 is not an easy ask. I was talking to John Koppel from the board, one of my best buddies, about the idea. This is before we had the name. And he said, I can't do $5,000, but I can do 500. And for me, that's when the light bulb went off. And sort of came up with the idea of $5,000, 500, $50, and that's kind of what 5 for Humanity. Patricia uses the word humanity a lot. I think it's sort of all-encompassing in terms of the team at CFS, the programs we offer, the people we serve, the difference we make. So yeah, so late March, 5 for Humanity was born, and thanks to many of you here, we've had all kinds of generous donations, and again, even staff participating, donating $5 is so meaningful to me and us, and it's less about the amount, but in any event, I think going into today, we're up to 51.5. I know about another 500 recently, so $52,000, which makes me really happy that we were able to. So that's 5 for Humanity. Patricia wanted to open it back up, and I couldn't tell her no. But anyway, I felt like I was walking to a funeral today because I'm so sad. But I'm obviously happy for Patricia. She's gonna do amazing things in different ways. And thank you.
Patricia's goal is to get the 5 for Humanity Fund to 60,000 today. So cfs-ab.org/Patricia, where you can make a donation. Something quite shocking for any of you who know Byron is that he forgot to mention where the food will be. And so that's just up those stairs, and we'll serve that moving towards the parade. And drinks are, of course, at the bar inside of the restaurant. Patricia asked if Byron and I speak today, and it's a real honor for us to do that. When Lori, Byron, and I were planning Patricia's farewell, we were brainstorming ideas, and Byron and I jumped right into logistics. Where it was going to be, who was going to be there, like, what's over. And Lori stopped us and said, guys, I don't think you understand how important this is. And then she went on. She said, Patricia is the reason so many of us are involved with CFS. She's the reason we treat people, the people we serve, the way we do. She's the reason CFS is such a great place to work. And it didn't take us long to figure out that she's the reason would make a great theme for this celebration. So I want to thank everybody who's taken time to submit their She's the Reason story on our website or share their story directly with Patricia. Over the last few days, it's been a privilege to listen to all of the ways that Patricia has made such an incredible difference. We had a staff farewell last night where we got to hear some of our teams speak about Patricia. We heard, she's the reason I think I can be a leader and the leader I want to be. She's the reason why the community knows the importance and the humanity of serving young fathers. She's the reason we have a reputation as a sector leader. She's the reason we use the word reference. She's the reason we have bookable counseling. And for now, I consider myself very fortunate to tell you why she's a reason for me. We've often heard Patricia described as charismatic, but I don't think that term does her justice. She is magnetic, pulling people into our purpose and pulling things out of them that many of us didn't even know was there. A story by example, when I was just starting out as CFS's fundraiser, Patricia asked me to meet with a prospective donor. He wanted to invest in a program that was already heavily funded. So the objective of the meeting was to shift what we thought could be a fairly sizable donation into another not so funded program. The meeting was going beautifully, the donor was open, excited about our ideas, and asked how much we would need. And I said a number, and I will never forget the look on Patricia's face and the way she immediately jumped in saying, we know that's a lot, Jessica's talking about full cost, we'd only expect you to come in as a funding partner, and basically everything that she could do was soften my number. I was sure I was in so much trouble, and as we walked the donor to the door, my stomach was in knots. We shook their hands, they left, and as soon as the door closed, Patricia grabbed me by the shoulders, burst out laughing, and said, Jessica, that was awesome. Turns out I was not in trouble. We got a donation and a long-term donor who we laugh about this story with. But let me tell you, she's the reason I felt like I could ask for the amount that I did. And it's because immediately at one meeting, when I was most nervous, she said, you're not asking for yourself, you're asking for the people we serve, so stay focused on our purpose and you'll be fine. In that meeting, she didn't just soften my number, she drew those donors towards the purpose. She made them ready to hear the number, and our purpose became their reason for giving, and you can't do that with just charisma. Last night at the staff event, we heard over and over that Patricia's the reason why CFS and the people who work there are about humanity above all else. I can tell you that I spent the last 14 years working for a leader who has accepted my humanity in so many different ways. From the way she laughs hysterically when I come into her office to confess a mistake and then walks me through how to bounce back, to the way she always has all the time in the world to help me talk through a problem, personal or professional. She knows my family well. My kid calls her Auntie Trish. And I can tell you, when I think about the happiest and saddest times in my life in the last 14 years, Patricia is always on the periphery, either celebrating as much as I am or grieving right along with me. Patricia, you see the humanity in all of us and invite us to give that full humanity in all its bumps and bruises to each other and the people we serve. You have shaped us to be better humans to other humans, and 1,000 speeches would not sufficiently convey that gratitude. So now over to Byron, who I know wants to share his speech.
Well, Jessica summed up our staff words beautifully from yesterday. Obviously has offered some beautiful words. And as for those of you who know me, you'll no surprise, I have nothing new to offer. I'm just gonna ramble on and talk a lot and make it sound like I have something of value. But as I'm sure many others will speak to today, she's the reason I'm here. And I'll quickly move on before I read too much into whether or not the crowd thinks that's a positive thing, or whether they're just grateful that they know who to blame now. So, she's also the reason I have the privilege and enormous responsibility, alongside Jessica and the rest of the CFS leadership team that is scattered throughout the venue today, of carrying on the incredible vision and legacy that Patricia has built for Catholic Family Service over the past 20 years. I'm standing here not due to any particular brilliance on my part, but because I have dirt that I'm holding over Patricia, but because she has given me every opportunity to lead, to grow, and to fail. And it's because of every one of these opportunities, every one of these experiences, no matter how well they went or terribly they bombed, that I had developed the confidence to lead. And this confidence to lead has completely changed the course of my professional career. As you know, Patricia is unrelenting in her pursuit of a leadership culture. And who better to set the bar for what a leadership culture looks like than the most empowering boss I've ever had. At the time I joined the agency, I was a washed-up lawyer coming back from my time in Africa, zero clinical experience or background, and zero experience in the nonprofit sector. So as you can imagine, I wasn't exactly a hot commodity. Now, most organizations weren't even allowing me a foot in the door, whereas Patricia actively sought me out after one of our former board members connected her with me. And not only did she invite me in, but she empowered me to lead from day one. She never let me get away with playing the new guy card, which I did for the better part of a year. She was constantly open and genuinely open to my influence and my ideas, never once treating me like a junior, even though she could have found many reasons to. Instead, she gave me opportunity after opportunity, no matter how unlikely or unfitting a candidate I may have been to step in. Whether it was leading the organization through the strategic plan or providing clinical consultation to a counselor, she always instilled a belief in me that I was capable, even and especially when I didn't believe in myself. Even in situations where we disagreed, she hammered home that my voice mattered, and that as long as I had a sound rationale for the decisions I was making, she would trust and 100% back me. Perhaps most significantly, she's the reason I felt a place of belonging here at CFS. There have been various times, even to this day, where I very much feel a fish out of water. As a male in a predominantly female sector, coming from a corporate background and a very traditional background, I'm offered constant reminders of how stark a contrast this role is with many other facets of my life. I know that there have been many times where I've said or done the wrong thing despite my best intentions, and where the response has been less than gracious. Humor, which is often directed at myself, I'm an easy target, and the ability to authentically engage in challenging conversations where perspectives differ has been my greatest ally in building relationships with others. But there's been critical moments where I determined the only way I could survive in this sector is if I could find a way to bring a heavily filtered ultra version of my true self. Patricia made sure this would never happen. With her self-deprecating humor, her openness to dive straight into topics that us polite Canadians would otherwise never broach, and our light-handed banter that usually revolves around my Asianness and her ruralness. Patricia has modeled an environment that is free from the pretentiousness, the posturing, and the judgment that is far too often present in leaders and the perceptions of what leadership should be. Now let me be clear, she's never hesitated to sit me down, or anyone else for that matter, if I ever said or did anything that contributed to values. Nothing is more sacred to her than the how we treat those that we serve, those that we work alongside, and those that support us. She's embodied the word reverence and made it a defining tenet of this organization. She has always managed to uphold these values as non-negotiable while filtering through all BS to focus in on an individual's character and intent. As Jessica spoke to earlier, she sees the humanity in all of us, and in the process, has never once hesitated to reveal her own humanity. That is the mark of true leader. Patricia, you've clearly had an immeasurable impact on the two of us, and on this organization of which you called home for almost 20 years. I think you've been selfish enough in holding on to this. So we're so excited for you to enter this new chapter with the Calgary Homeless Foundation, and can't wait to see the next generation of young leaders that you're going to build up, and the transformational work in the sector that we know you will be doing. Raise a glass, please, to Patricia.
Easy. Easy. That was
One of the more poetic things we heard last night from staff about Patricia was this beautiful statement that to love is to pay attention. And Patricia pays attention to people who aren't used to being paid attention to. Patricia has made those values Catholic Family's true north. So now it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to a man who Patricia says helped shape those values in her, Please join in welcoming Greg Campbell, Patricia's predecessor as CEO of Calgary Homeless Service.
Thanks very much. And I've watched Rusty day in hell before I look at my phone for a speech. I can't read it. I'm up to 14 points, and it's getting a bit of a struggle. I'll laugh. That could be the next. When Morgan called and invited me, she said the theme was going to be about living life for us. Now, the dark side of me, Patricia, did you know is there? Said, well, maybe you're the one responsible for all this gray hair. But she wasn't. I had a pleasure of working with Patricia for 20 years. And I first met her, I guess it was I remember highlights. I could have told a lot of truths, but it wouldn't be appropriate, but I just remember highlights. I remember her at an interagency meeting, the first time I met her. She was very, very pregnant with me. And I kept on looking at her because she was so energetic. I said, my God, how could she be so energetic? She's in her last trimester. So that's the last I saw of her until she came knocking at the door, and she came back to work for us half-time, the child sexual abuse program, which was a program that focused on really vulnerable youngsters that had really tragic and awful and violent experiences in their life. And she quickly became their champion, and oddly enough, the contract was one of those contracts where it was like 15 kids. Well, sometimes she had 20, 25 because they kept on coming back. You know, and her door was always open. She soon expanded that off to a full-time job, but shortly after took time off for this young man here. And then came back, and that was an interesting point in time because we were redefining Catholic Family Service. We were turning it to a family service organization, and not works. We're turning it from a family counseling agency to a family service agency, which brought the influx of volunteers from like 15 to a couple hundred. It brought the whole notion of working in community. And I was wondering at that point in time, okay, we have to get more out in the community, and Patricia comes down, as she does, as you described, bouncing in, and said, how about I go to St. Monica School and spend some time there? Now, St. Monica School at the time probably had 100 different cultures and languages. And the principal was Mike Ross, who was some of you might know. And so I was kind of worried she was going to go out into the system. And so after about a month or two, I hadn't heard anything, so I stopped by and I walked in the door, and the first thing I saw was Patricia Jones, social worker, that they put a nameplate on her office. So I knew right away that she had connected. She was just a natural, you know, she exuded positive energy and enthusiasm and authenticity. And that made her that old expression in life that wherever she went, she was comfortable and she had constructive and effective relationships. She only ever bristled. And those of us who know her know she can bristle. Not you, Ken. But if somebody made the absolute mistake of calling her Trish, or Hats, and to give them what my family came up with called the hairy eyeball. You just like stare them right down and say, my name is Patricia. And that would be the end of that. The mistake would never be made again. We had the Family and Schools Together program. It's just part of this moving out more to the community. And within our own organization, we had a healthy bit of resistance because it was not counseling oriented, which is what our bread and butter is. So she said, I just dumped the manual and said, do it. Probably half the truth to that. And then I said, I think you might be motivated by this. And you'd like to do it. And it's going to happen. So would you do it? She went from that moment on to, at its maximum, at the time of something like 20 school partners. And she became the national trainer for family schools in Canada county schools together in Canada. And she moved to that national training there, created great leadership across the country like that. It also was a time when I think the board of the day, because we were a Catholic agency, said, look, we better get some hospital outcomes. And we better get them in place because we need to prove that what we're doing makes sense. And that's a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing. And she took that on just amazingly. And I think that shortly within a period of a year or two, we were at the front edge of the city and having demonstrable outcomes. That was never the case. Outcomes. And I still think that that's much true now. As she moved up in the organization, like the thing that I struggle with at times, when you say, look at doing this, and somebody says, well, why would we want to do that? And all of a sudden, the personality says, oh, why not? That sounds cool. And there are very few buts on there. There were always a lot of good questions and data required, but it was never, no. But if it was outside our wheelhouse, she'd be the first to say it. And she moved up in the organization until she became a director of operations. And she was always concerned about if I went away, she'd be the one that would be the leader. And I had an annual discussion with her, Patricia. You cannot sort of be in charge. If I'm not around, you're in charge. You make the decisions, you call them the way you want it, do it. And if I have an issue about it, when I get back, you and I have a conversation quietly. But never would you say we shouldn't have done that. Okay. So anyways, I'm up in Yellowknife fishing. And I'm out at a place called Prosperous Lake. And it's not. In those days, there was no cell phone contact. So occasionally I have to come in and shave, have a shower, etc. And the phone like was blinking at my sister's house. Right away, I think I screwed up. I said, okay. So anyways, phoned her up, and she had been interviewed by the Herald, and it was a reporter who we knew, and he liked us. It's going to be okay. No, I pointed her to this stuff. I said, well, it'll be okay. And don't call me again. I just came in to get bait and beer. And I'm heading back out. So I got back, and about 2 or 3 weeks after I got back, I remembered this conversation. And I said, well, did you ever get any feedback on the article in the Herald? She said, yeah, I got one call. I said, what was it about? I said, I really wanted to know who my hairdresser was. There's lots of other stories to share. But it's a time thing. But when I retired, that had been a lot of labor and love for me. And I was worried. But when Patricia was appointed, I was convinced that she had the right values. She had the passion. And most important, she had the commitment. And she'd lead the organization, and you know what? I wasn't wrong. I have never looked back, never felt the Irish remorse or anything whatever you call it. I've always felt it was the right person for the right time. And the tributes that are happening today will happen all along, probably pretty good. So anyway, good luck today.
For those of you, she sanitizes herself between each bite. Okay. I've been informed that food is ready, or food is ready.
Yeah, it's ready.
Okay, and that the staff will individual plate it for each of us. So we started our program, like we want to make sure that we are able to get through it all. So we're just gonna blow past the break. Please feel free to go up and get yourself food during, in between speeches. We're close enough here that no need to worry about offending Our next, all of us have had a privilege to work alongside of her for the better part of this past year. She is a dynamic leader in her own right and has become a very valued partner for Catholic Family Service. I'd like to introduce to you the Executive Director of CUPS, Carlin Donnelly.
Hi, everyone. I'm very happy for Patricia, but I'm also very sad. Darren and I are on the same page. We're going to cry together later in the corner. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for having us speak, because I have my own journey with Patricia that I'm going to tell you about. I heard Jessica and Byron, who I've come to adore, talk about her magnetism and her personality. I heard Greg talk about her in-like flame ability. And I'm going to tell you the approach she used on me. And it's slightly different. I've known Patricia probably in parallel in our working group as often we do for many years. And we knew who each other was, certainly had a lot of respect for each other. But one day I get a call and it's Patricia and she says, "Carly, how are you?" And I go, "What?" And she said, "I have a thought. I think we should work closer together. I like this tool you've come up with, the resiliency measurement tool. And I think there's great things. We're doing some really great things with our counseling and the way we're going to restructure them. I think there's a lot of synergy here. I want to get together and I want to talk about it." Yeah? That was it. It wasn't a long conversation. And I said, "Sure, let's have a conversation." I said, if you go somewhere and you want me to wine, I'll definitely listen to you." So we got together and she came up with an idea. But what I think I love the most about Tricia is she just puts it on the table. There is no dancing around it. There's no let's build up to a long process of analyzing and thinking about it. Here's what I think we should end up. Let's see about how building the road, getting there, gets us there. And so it's been an amazing journey. We've become even amazingly better colleagues and great friends. So I've got the pleasure of knowing her husband Kim and her kids. We once saw Julia together in New Zealand, and I've had the vast pleasure of working with these two, Ryan and Jessica, who I've come to absolutely have so much respect for. The working relationship of what we're trying to do in our sector is, in my opinion, more challenged because it is the social sector. People get very attached to the organization, entity, and the people they work for in that particular niche. And it makes it very difficult to look at giving something up. I'm always fond of saying, everyone thinks it's a great idea until they have to give something up. But that's when the real work begins. And I think for me, that's what Patricia really embodied was she was prepared to give up things, to make changes, and to always collaborate, if not at 50%, at a greater percent. And she truly is one of the most biggest believers I know in equality and fairness and humanity. And one of the ways that was rather interesting, as we were starting to kind of have these discussions in the beginning, which is about a year and a half. So I know it seems long, but it's been a year and a half, not under a year. So I was sitting in an office in Patricia called and she said, "I'm involved in this family service network and international network looking at family dynamics and impacts and outcomes. And I think you should come. I think you should come and do a speech." Nicole Sharon from Calgary Homeless Foundation was asked to come and talk about her brilliance with the brains. And so we said, okay, sure. So I said, well, I'm from the Mayo Times, I'm from PEI. So I said, if you're coming back east, you gotta get a little bit of Carl's version, which is me, of the Mayo Times. And so I said, we're gonna fly into Halifax, we'll stay a day or two, and then we'll drive down to Sydney, because that's a beautiful drive, Nova Scotia. And I've actually never been to Sydney, Nova Scotia. You can't even go to Mayo Times, because you have to have a reason to go there. Maybe Cabot Trail's it, I just didn't do them. So we fly into Halifax. We had a very, very, very fun time. I took them on a walking tour. We saw a live band outside of the lower deck. It was a lot of fun. And then we went down to this conference. And this conference was a great conference, it really was, but Patricia came very prepared, as Patricia always does. She had the tunes for the ride, she had the GPS, she had it all planned. We get to there, and we must have went through, from Halifax to Sydney, 750 small towns. I might be exaggerating, but not by a great. And finally at the end of it, I said, for the love of God, we've got to almost be there. And I said, what small town is this? And she looked at me and said, I believe we have arrived. It was a very small town, which they were lovely and they were amazing people. So there was, I don't know if anyone knows Sydney, but the conference was in this hotel right on the harbor, and cruise ships would come in. And this is such a fun story. Nicole reminded me of this tonight. When the cruise ship came in, all of the shops would open. Now keep in mind, this is very inclusive and all about equality. And so we would go walking after the conference was over, and on the nights that the cruise ship was open, I was there, everything was open. On the nights they weren't, they were kind of like, no, we're not going to open today. See ya. And I said to Patricia, I don't feel very equal. She said, I'm not feeling very inclusive. So it was a very good fun twist, but it was a great conference and was really able to really kind of spread the work that we do and the partnership that we have, and even the great results in this last year and a half that we've been able to produce, to be able to share that with other networks and really encourage people this way. Because this sector, and Karen Young's here from United Way, is in a time of change, and it's time to really start pushing the bill. And I know this sector really has a tough time changing, and it is hard to really push the bill, and maybe it's going to take 3 or 4 or 5 starts, but it is time to change the sector. And so it was great to kind of go there and talk about the work that we were doing, and no matter what, that work will continue. So I will say, on a kind of ending note, it's been probably one of my greatest pleasures in the last few years to partner with you, to work with you, and to really get to know you and your family. It's been a lot of fun. They have great wine in their house, in case anyone really ever wants to visit them. They're really good at cards. But it's just been, she's really, I've said to her often in this last 2 years, and after 6 years of a really bad economy and now COVID and so many other things happening in our province, this has really been the rejuvenation for me, this partnership and our friendship. So thank you. And I just think, honestly, wherever you go, I'm going to support you. Wherever you go, we're going to work together. I'm sad I will miss in this particular partnership because it's just been so much fun and such a great thing. But I will say, just on a closing note, that on the theme of she's the reason, I will say that for me, Patricia is the reason I believe in strong, brave, bold leadership. She's the reason I get to debrief in a healthy, safe, and supportive manner to keep myself healthy. And she is the reason I laugh a lot. Love you. Wish you all the best. Thanks for having me say a few minutes.
Thanks, Carlene. And Carlene's the reason that there's 3 of us, because that's how many it requires to keep up with her. So, you know what? I lied when I last spoke. We need to take a break. You guys can get food. I forgot that everyone's very Canadian. Everyone's going to wait, so there's a natural break before they get food. Chris tried to model for us. We can all learn something from him. So why don't we take 5 minutes, go get your food, get your drinks topped up, and we'll resume.
So I had the opportunity to go again, and so my old one didn't fit in. Yeah,
I am retiring, finally. I was same age as Greg. I'm mom. Very proud of mom as well. It's supposed to be June, but obviously next year. It's actually in
See you again.
Greg says to be on the I am a Detroit. Well, she's working.
Hi, everyone. If we could get you to take your seats again, please. Thank you.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing? Good.
Your wine glass.
Hey, that's right. Unless I pop my head up. I'm not gonna do that.
Anyway, Cynthia, she told me, she says, wow, I liked her because she got right up and helped people clean up. She didn't sit there and wait to be waited on.
Well, if you're invited out to a farm, the first thing you're supposed to do is pitch in.
So, you're gonna have to have it.
Oh, that was good. No, I liked Kathy. She brought her dog, who's not doing so well, but he's an older kind of frail dog who believes he's a puppy. So he was kind of going all around having a good time.
Yeah. Cheer up.
Cheer up.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, she's getting on. She and my dog are friends. My dog is now happy.
Oh, thank you.
I'm the CEO soon to retire. I'm retired.
Do a virtual hi. Hello. Thank you for joining us virtually. This is very odd.
I know,
They
it's
can
so
see me, I
odd.
can't see them.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for
But let me
coming.
tell you who's here. So
Okay.
Sarah Lack,
Hi, Sarah. Oh,
Haywood,
Michelle.
Father Wilbur is here. He can't leave right now, so he's happy to be here. Gail Urquhart,
Oh,
Alejandro,
thank you for coming.
so
But they're there.
they're here. Just say hi.
Hello. Thank you
Assad,
for
well
coming.
managed. Yeah, everybody's tuning in today.
Wonderful. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
We have everyone who doesn't have their plate, or who has their plate already, return to their seats. And we're going to cruise on here. If you are in line for a plate of food, please stay in line. Grab yourself something to eat.
I will be.
Okay, we're going to get back started again. Thank you. Sorry to rush your snack break short, so please make sure you grab something to eat. You know, one of the things that we've heard tonight, this afternoon, is about family. And so I'm very happy to welcome Patricia's family here tonight. So Kim, her husband, her son Chris, and her brother and sister here.
What was that thing?
They're in for the line. They're in the food line, which is great. Another theme I think we've heard is about sector leadership and collaboration. So I'd like to welcome Karen Young from United Way, Jeff Loomis from Momentum, Tim Allen from Caria. And, you know, Byron and I were saying really everybody in this room is a distinguished guest, so please know that we are grateful for everyone for being here. You know, Patricia has a way of working with our donors and our volunteers in a way that brings them in and makes them feel, I think, as much a part of our team as our staff are. And there's the two people who I'm about to introduce now have been generous in every way with Catholic Family Service. And I know Patricia turns to them both for advice. And so, Trish and Kevin, please come forward. Good afternoon. I first met Patricia in the spring of 2009 when I was at Craig Campbell's office at Catholic Family Service, discussing the possibility of joining the board. Patricia joined us for a part of that meeting, and I remember being so impressed with her energy and how personable and friendly she was. I've been on both the Catholic Family Service board and the Unlocking Potential board for over 10 years now, and I know the reason why I've stayed for so long, of course, is because of Patricia. Over these past 10 years, I always leave the board meetings revitalized, impressed with the inspiring conversations, and so proud and confident in Patricia's skill in tackling all the challenges that have been thrown her way. It is an honor to be part of this agency that has such a powerful purpose, and that is to build strong families.
When I heard that Patricia was leaving CFS, you could say I went through a few stages of grief. First, I was shocked and kind of mad that she would leave. And then I was sad and concerned this fine leadership that she is leaving CFS in such capable hands. I know she wouldn't consider leaving if this wasn't so. Patricia will always be a part of CFS, and of course, will always be one of its biggest advocates. I miss you.
Thank you, Trish. So first of all, when I got the invitation to speak today, I'm like Greg, I can't read very well, small print. I thought it said she's the roast. So I wrote my speech along those lines, of course. So when a new leader is appointed to replace a long-term and very successful incumbent, one of the biggest concerns is how they fill those shoes. And this was no different for Patricia when she was appointed to lead CFS after Greg Campbell's very successful 27-year run leading this organization. So Patricia reached out to some of her contacts, seeking coaching and mentoring in her new role. I was one of the people she reached out to. And I think all of you know that when Patricia sets her mind on something, anything, especially raising money for CFS, she makes it very, very hard to say no. And when she asked if I would consider mentoring her, well, first of all, personally, I was very honored, but you can imagine that there was just no way I could say no. There was no way I could get a chance to leave that meeting without her closing me down and getting the yes answer. So I did. But I remember that first mentoring lunch with Patricia. And like Trish described, she was excited, she was happy, she was full of ideas, bursting with energy, and talking even faster than I do. But what really struck me was her deep and genuine commitment to serve CFS, its clients, its staff, and to lead this CFS team. I could not have been more pleased or more excited with the energy, the enthusiasm, and direction I saw Patricia bringing to CFS. Well, my initial coaching to Patricia was not to try to fill Greg's shoes, but to be her own leader, to build her own style and fashion CFS in her vision. I think it's pretty clear that 9 years later, she took that coaching and ran. But I think more likely, she knew what to do. And she set out to do it, she did it, and ran through it. The CF organization today, we've heard Byron and Jessica talk, reflects Patricia's strong, clear, empowering leadership. And she's provided that leadership over her full tenure. I know the board's going to feel challenged to find a new leader, but I believe the organization is strong, has excellent people, excellent programs, well-structured programs, will continue to flourish based on her leadership over the years, and will continue to grow. So for many of us here today, the CFS Up Gala has been an annual highlight on our social and philanthropic calendars. I know we're all disappointed that this year's event has been an unfortunate victim of the pandemic. But I want to personally thank Patricia for taking on the gala 10 years ago, making it a huge success with energy, her vision, and her enthusiasm. And all of us are going to meet her deep into the CFS mission, a commitment that she movingly and clearly articulated in her annual speech at the gala. I know the gala's success has exceeded all of our expectations, and certainly as a donor, I felt privileged and rewarded to be a part of CFS, especially at the gala. Oh, but I also believe that that Patricia's and passionate speeches supercharged that balloon raffle. Bravo, Patricia. When coaching executives over a long period of time, that coaching transitions from coach and mentoree to peers. And often you start talking as peers and you share ideas. I saw some of that in our relationship change, but I really feel like I actually transitioned from coach to donor prospect. And with that, I'd like to thank Patricia for her 27 years of service to CFS, 9 years leading the organization, and importantly, wish her total success in her next challenge at the Calgary Homeless Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you, Trish and Kevin. We've all watched Poetic all day long about the leader that Patricia's become, and I know that's no small part thanks to the years of relationship that Patricia's had with Trish and Kevin. both as mentors and as donor prospects. Before I introduce our next guest, just a little a brief on what the Unlocking Potential Foundation is. It's the fundraising arm of Calgary Family Service. Our next speaker happens to be the chair of the UP Foundation for the past 2-3 years. And I think it sums it up well when I remember at the AGM when he was appointed as our board chair, and he took the mic and he said, "I'd get behind this horse any day." So I will turn the mic over to Mr. Warren Stowe.
Yeah, thanks, Byron. Jessica, great job, by the way, guys. Fantastic. I'm thrilled about today, quite frankly. I've been under this voodoo curse for the last 5 years, because I wasn't even supposed to be a board member, much less the bloody board chair of this organization, because I made the mistake of looking Patricia in the eyes one day, and then you are now in her curse. And so you do whatever you're told to do after that happens. And so I joined the board because I was asked. And so I knew the new runway. So, what can be said that hasn't already been said? Patricia has been a great leader. Her passion is undeniable. I guess from the Upboard perspective, we are out there introducing our networks, our friends, our families to this agency in hopes that they donate their money, their time, their network. And that's not an easy task ever. Well, Patricia makes it super easy. We just really need to book a lunch with whoever it is that we're trying to persuade, and Patricia does all the heavy lifting. And it has really made my job as board chair. And last year, I think Kevin pointed out the success that we've had at the gala. I think raising over $350,000 in one night is a testament to the work that Patricia does to steward those relationships. She has an amazing ability to, when you are sitting with her, you feel like you're the most important thing in the room. And even when that room happens to have 450 people in it, and not everybody can do that. And so it's truly a gift, and we're gonna miss you. So, from the Up board, she's the reason that the people that give their time and their money give as much as they do, and it's the reason that they do it year after year after year. And so thank you very much for all that you've done for the agency, and it's been a pleasure working with you. So.
Warren, and for your leadership with the award. I had the pleasure of meeting our next speaker when we were both in our early 20s. And along with her sister, she was a devoted volunteer in our Families and Schools Together program. It means so much to me that our Catholic Family Service Board chair has done program setup and takedown, loads and loads of dishes, and for some of our youngest clients.
Thank you, Jessica. Yeah, we met when we were in our early 20s. That was 4 or 5 years ago. So why are you laughing? So I've known Patricia for, it's like 17 years. My sister and I were, and Patricia's energy drew us to CFS. At the time, she was director of operations. And she lent her incredible energy. So excited to see everyone included. Just the reason. Doing my own business when she asked me to be part of the CFS board, so volunteering through the board. Her clear vision, passion, intellect, and foresight made it easy to say yes. I've been consistently blown away since then by her ability to engage with stakeholders, focus on really important funds at really important time, and to talk about it. And we'll hear. Which is the reason CFS is where today. A vibrant, growing, the business for the vulnerable in our community. She's innovative, a visionary, she's authentic, she's unrelenting, she's arbitrary, and she's always. You've been so wonderful to work with. Many brilliant, creative ideas, so many suggestions I've lost track of. I can't list them. And you will be very, very sorely missed. It's been an honor and a privilege to work with you. You're also a good support and flagging spirit, but you will be very sorely missed. So,
we're going to invite now the board who have a gift for Patricia. I'm not sure who's from you. I completely forgot to queue up the gift.
So the gift I want to thank you is a little thank you. So Patricia, on behalf of the Unlocking Potential and the CFS board, you've got a little token of our gratitude. We know you said this. And so if anyone else did it, they're in deep trouble. Five for humanity. Thank you very much.
Introduction over the last 90 minutes. Let's turn the mic over to Patricia Jones.
Just preparing to speak today, I thought, oh, this is the last speech I'm going to do for this organization. And I'm not going to pause. So Kim and I took marriage prep because Father Jim and I don't have their story, because I do, in order to get married in Catholic Church. And we opted for the quickest stellar attitude. Actually, my attitude was good. Kim's wasn't so good. No, we needed one of us has a better attitude. This is the first time I actually had the opportunity to meet Greg Campbell, who was teaching. And I remember being impressed by him, thinking, Father Chin, you should keep supporting Catholic. Greg, you were critical, truly saw me, taking me on 9 years ago, teaching me and learning together. And then we had the up board, Unlocking Potential, exactly what we do for the people we serve. Donna Banks was the founder of the board, followed by Corbin Coyce, who is here today. Hi, Corbin. Tony Ciarla, and now Warren Stowe. The Up Foundation has been critical to the sustainability of CFS as we continue to move through a uncertain present and future. Up has allowed CFS the confidence to move forward while mitigating a lot of risk. They do this by accessing, as Warren said, they access their own network. They ask their friends and their colleagues to trust us and support us. That is a big deal. Thank you. When I first began 9 years ago, well prepared by Greg, who said to me about 2 years before I took the job, you got to pick a lane, Patricia, you can't come but one, be the CEO. I was well supported by the board and yet in still full panic. My style, people know, and Hugh knows this, when I'm uncertain is I seek out people, I ask questions, I learn, and then I develop my own perspective. And at this time, I was intentional about learning from others outside our sector. I really wanted to do this. And I have had so many mentors throughout the years, and I can't speak of each of them, but you know who you are. But I would like to hint in us, like I wanted to meet Kevin. And Kevin was like uber important, right? And I said, I do want to meet Kevin. And she said, okay, no problem. I'm not sure which one of you is going to speak faster or listen, but I'll set that up for you. And she didn't hesitate. So my first meeting with Kevin started a 9-year mentorship. Can I show you? Here it is. And Kevin got out his pen. Sorry, now I got out his pen, and I received my first lesson in Leadership 101, the difference between leadership and management. And I still have this paper. Some of the writing I can't read anymore. But Kevin was always available to me in his office in Houston, in his office in Calgary, and sometimes when he's on top of an oil rig. I would get a call from Courtney saying, Kevin's in the air, he'll land at 4:56 and he'll phone you at 4:58. And he would often phone at 4:57. The language appropriate to the role and defensive of the community, I am confident will remain part of the culture of CFS, and that is direct from you, Mr. Nadeau. Thank you, Kevin and Trish, for all your support. John and Karen Murphy aren't here, but they are longtime supporters of CFS and way before I came along, right? John retired about 10 years ago and had a strategic vision to work with nonprofits to support strategy development, offering a skill set that few nonprofits can afford. John and Karen have a long history with the sector across Canada. They support family services across Canada, and they are supporters of the United Way. CFS was lucky to get them. They have put in countless hours with us personally and professionally, and our current strategic plan is held up across the sector as best practice. That plan is our roadmap today, and not only has prepared us for what is ahead, it has perfectly put us in the driver's seat to determine our future. That plan is also what has allowed me to leave CFS in good hands, because a clear succession plan structure was developed therein. Terry and Grant Hutchinson aren't here, they might be streaming. They also came into our lives, I don't know how many years ago. Terry was the pastoral secretary for Father Greg at St. Mary's Cathedral, when she used to call me. They have been partners with us, and along with United Way, they have been the pivotal donors to ensure we could offer single session counseling to all Calgarians. I need to let And if you think about that, that's double in human beings, the number of people in our community who can get help when they need it, how they need it, and where they need it. Terry and Grant just simply got it. They got it, they shared our values, would offer advice, and Terry also, if you want to know, snack mom at youth fair games at Louisiana Center. Thank you, Terry and Grant. CFS enjoys many partnerships with so many community partners because we believe it is our responsibility to work together to ensure that what we offer facilitates barrier-free healing, not more doors, not more questions, not more trauma. And first of all, of Helen, John there, want to acknowledge our 50-year anniversary this year with the Louisiana concept and approach, even after 50 years, is innovative and first in class, and we are grateful for our partnership with CE and AHS. Partnerships don't thrive without relationships with leaders who get it. Helen, the principal, and Allison, the assistant principal, solid as the day is long, shared vision, willing to plan together, have fun together, fight together, to ensure both young mothers and our fathers have what they need to be the best for their kids. Thank you to them. Thank you, Jeff Loomis and Momentum, for supporting financial literacy in the entire sector. I do believe we were your first test site ever was doing with young parents, so thank you. I'll never forget the phone call, actually, when you said, Patricia, we need to do this. It worked. And it worked. It worked. Sue Mallon, for working together with Nelson in Canada. Mike William, who is not here, or was here in his roles with CCPO and Integral, has offered this cost here. Greg Campbell told me once that if you're going to call yourself Catholic, you got to wear the T-shirt. You understand? So I want to thank Father Tim and Orlando, who are on live stream, for being here today. Your friendship and shared values for ensuring. I want to also acknowledge and thank Bishop Henry, Bishop McGrattan. Together, in the past few years, we've navigated some difficult challenges with a shared intent to do the right thing for people. Since 1957, CFS had to go, and her door has been nothing less than wide open. Wide open to conversations, wide open to thinking outside the box, wide open to working together to serve. United Way has supported many of our programs and have championed our online counseling. That will someday be Canada-wide. Sure. I'm confident our work with Teen Fathers, our work with communities, and we're the first to step out of the gate supporting our collaborative work with CUPS. So thank you, Karen. As part of our strategic initiative to be sector leader in collaboration, and frankly, and honestly, knowing the runway in the past year, we have been all in with our community CUPS as we share a vision to ensure that people are served with humanity, respect, and with a full suite of services from both organizations stewarded by caring.
Man, this year has been so many things. Hey, Carmen, Robert, it's been so many things. Difficult, complicated, resource heavy, all those things. But I also would say that our work together with CUP has been pure joy, downright fun, as we dream together how we can serve people more. For your mantra, be brave and most of us, and I've been thinking about that a lot lately as I chose to leave and what that really means. Many in this room know that my father-in-law passed away. To his death were a combination of high intensity, stress, conflict, angst, and as you all know, having lost somebody, deep intimacy. 4 siblings, including my husband, had to navigate the situation with in-laws and grandchildren, family history, buried hurts, and unknown agendas. And it's happened when my parents died. This time was wrought with challenges, and each of us took our turn, kind of being jerks, right? Being stressed, skating the edge. Things could have gotten out of hand, right? By the end of the day, we made it through to his celebration last Saturday with all 4 siblings united in their shared history and love for their father. And I think this is a common pattern in most families. In the last week of his life, my father-in-law was very clear that his wish was that the family would stay together, and these were his terms, forever and ever. And I think that's every parent's wish. So when we at CFS say we want to build strong families, we aren't saying perfect. And we are not saying that strong is a steady state. I think it means we support all families, including our own, to muddle through. Good enough is strong enough. Because when we leave this world, and when it's my turn to leave this world, I know it will be the final wish for my kids. So speaking of family, CFS has been in my family for 27 years. During this time, Kim and I raised our children. CFS was when my parents passed away, and now when Kim's parents passed away. This agency has walked with me and my family through every challenge, celebrating with and grieving with us. My whole family has been involved at CFS. Both my kids have worked and volunteered there. My brother and sister-in-law, who are here today, have attended the gala, and our valued donors. We did the helicopter ride. It was awesome. And my sister, who's not here, baby cuddled at Louise Dean and was an amazing silent auction volunteer. That is special and not something everybody gets, so I want to thank you. And that's kind of the hard part. Everybody has to leave home. And I made the determination that it was my time. I can't even articulate why. I've spoken to many in the community before I made the decision, but more just a knowing and honoring and a deep belief that CFS will not only not skip a beat, but will be in the incredible hands of a leadership team and all of the staff that are working on the ground every day. I do believe that the title of CEO is not owned, it's borrowed for a period of time, and it has been my privilege. And I've been lucky enough for 9 years to be the conduit to the community of the great work that I frankly don't do. It's done by the staff. Cynthia, Nishi, Caitlin, Tara, Vanessa, Christine. Hands down, best leadership in the sector, hands down. Thank you for working at CFS, for trusting in my leadership, and standing together for families. Jessica, we've worked together for 14 years. We've seen it all, been through it all, debated through it all, navigated it all. Like a family, good enough was always good enough, even though we both kind of wanted perfection, but it was good enough. And I would say in your case, more is more than good enough. I've learned from you, been inspired by you, and deeply value my relationship with you. Byron, you crazy ass. Like, why would you leave the law? Give up this nice affluent life as a lawyer to come to the dark side. You took a chance on me. You took a chance on CFS, and the agency is better for it. I know you didn't know what you were getting into, especially that first year, but I'm so glad you hung in there. You have said from day one that you didn't get into this to get a job, which was kind of a really good thing, and that you wanted to be part of meaningful change to make our world better. I know that, I see that, and I'm lucky to know you. So when Greg left CFS, he publicly said that he had no hesitation handing the keys to me. Thank you for your trust, Greg, and at the risk of stealing your line, I also have no hesitation in passing the keys to Jessica, Byron, and the leadership team. It has been a privilege
and an honor. And also, as Greg said to me on his last day at CFS, I think you're just getting started. And finally, when I shared with Jessica and Byron that I had decided to leave, Jessica quipped very quickly, and jokingly, "You're going to stay on as monthly donor, aren't you?" I was so proud. So Dees, along with Churchill Watson, single-handedly put himself out there following a cancer diagnosis, which is so vulnerable and so brave, Darren. And asked his friends and family to support CFS in a campaign together we call Five for Humanity. He knew the gala was canceled and he wanted to contribute. His dream was to get, I loved him, he would phone me and said, "Is it too much to ask for 100,000? Should we go for 50? Should we go for 60?" And today, I don't know where we're at, Tara. 55. So I want to thank Corbin Boyce who walked in with a donation today. And Kim and I haven't told you this yet, Kim, but just so you know, we just donated $1,000 as a gift to the organization for a lifetime of meaning. Forgiveness is always been learned. Thank you for coming today. Thank you. Your kind words, your support for CFS, and thank you very much for your continued support of CFS. And I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Okay, there's no following that up, so I'm not going to try. Thank you for going on, so please feel free to stay and mingle at your convenience. Say your goodbyes to Patricia if you need to leave. For those that have extra time and can't get enough of Patricia, we will have the wine room open for us for a bit of an after party. The staff is kindly moving. Thank you to the Ontario staff for everything you've done. Schneider for coordinating this beautiful event. And one last thank you to Patricia for being the reason that we could gather, eat, and drink. Now grab your food, grab your drink, and head to the wine room if you plan to stay with us. Thank you.